Well, first and foremost, thank you for asking me this question. My favorite episode of the show is undoubtedly The Star of Christmas. And it's not just because, that episode's about Bob and Bob is my favorite character. It's also just, I love the way that it is like a deep exploration of a side of his character that is not often seen. It's like, and I know that episode does also reflect the downfall of the show in real life, which is another reason why I like it. And it's like, I wish the show had more episodes like that. You know what I mean? Like episodes that just took a specific character, took one of the character traits and just pushed it, or you don't even have to do that. Just explore an individual character. Maybe their dynamic with somebody else is fine, but just, I hope you guys can't hear my roommates downstairs. These walls are so thin. Anyway, just exploring just certain aspects of individual characters, or even a couple of characters. Exploring the dynamics of these characters in serious ways, because these are very unserious characters, so it's interesting to see, to just look at them from a more serious lens. Right after that is King George and the Ducky. It was actually the very first episode of the show I watched. Not the very first. My first impression of the show was Minnesota Cuke and the Search for Samson's Hairbrush. However, I was not at all paying attention when that episode was playing, so, I don't think it really counts. But yeah, King George and the Ducky was the first episode that I watched and actually paid attention to. It is such a good way to be introduced to the show. Like, if I wanted somebody to watch the show, not even watch the show, if I just wanted to, put on an episode for somebody else, that would be one of my picks. Because it's like, you can watch it without having any prior knowledge of the show, and it works. Unlike with The Star of Christmas, where it's like, you kind of need to know who these people are for this episode to click with you, It's like the music is so on point in that episode. I Love My Duck, banger. I Must Have It, banger. Barbara Manatee, banger. But yeah, and then the way that Jimmy and Jerry attempt to hijack the show. Sorry, I got interrupted because my roommate came home. Also, I'm extremely tired, so we're gonna try to get this done before she gets out of the shower. But anyway, yeah, King George and the Ducky is a classic. And then my next favorite episode is Lyle the Kindly Viking. I actually did not like it as a kid. I thought it was boring, but now as an adult, I'm like, no, that episode is an absolute classic. I would actually recommend that a non-fan watch that episode too. It's so funny too, because it's like the lesson is about sharing, and it's like, the Lyle story has nothing to do with sharing. The Vikings were stealing. It's not them being stingy, But, that's okay for me, because I'm a grown woman. I already know how to share. As for my headcanons for the characters, most of the time when I am, designing a character, I just kind of go for it, Normally my design process is, I don't put too much thought into the initial design, I just do whatever feels right, you know what I mean? And then after that, I go back and add more, thoughtful details. So, I'm assuming you're referring to this post because, it's, the only one where I, properly draw the characters. So for Bob, I got their eye colors from the Netflix show because, I'm one for colorful iris colors. I don't like the way the eyes are drawn in the Netflix show, but I was like, I fuck with colorful eyes, so I just stole all the colors. Well, not all of them. So with Bob, I don't know, I just kind of drew what felt right, I was like, I knew he has to be short and stout. That was it. I don't even know what race he's supposed to be. I think he's white and he's just really, really red. Larry is Mexican because, I just felt like that just felt right to me. As for his hair, so the way I designed his hair, in the show, Larry is canonically bald, but I didn't really want to draw him bald, so what I ended up doing was, when I initially drew him when I was 16, I based his hair off of Mike Naraki, and then I just kind of accidentally kept making it longer, and I was like, you know what, I fuck with this. So I was like, okay, Larry has ridiculously long hair, and people have told me that they like that design, so, Mr. Lund, I'm pretty sure, he wears this shirt in the show. So, and I'm a big fan of his hat. I don't like how in the Revival series, Mr. Lent and Pa Grape are rarely wearing their hats. I'm like, no! They look naked! Put the hats back on! But anyway, yeah. Mr. Lunt, I basically just did like a one-to-one translation of his in-show design and just gave him like a tan. Their body shape, all their body shapes, I mostly just like especially, I do this with the gourds, where I just draw an actual gourd and then just draw their body on top of that. So most of the gourds are shaped like that. For that reason, I did that with Mr. Lunt too. It's not too clear in this drawing because of the way he's leaning, but yeah. And then for Archibald, I will be discussing Archibald in another video because somebody else asked about that, and I promise I'm gonna get to that eventually, just hold your horses. So yeah, for Archibald, for like pre-2002, I was like, he definitely dresses like a distinguished gentleman, you know what I mean? So I gave him like a blazer and a button-up. And then after Jonah, he kind of starts to just starts to let loose, you know, and he starts to embrace his sillier side, I suppose. And I headcanon that he is super attached to that yellow sweater. Again, this should be for the other video. But he's super attached to that yellow sweater, and in a way he associates it with his development, transformation, whatever. He's always wearing that fuck-ass sweater. And then the monocle. I think in the earlier seasons his monocle was silver. Maybe not all the time, but there were definitely a few times. And then in the later seasons, it's definitely like always gold. And I was just like, yeah, that's a good way to distinguish which Archibald I'm drawing. And then as for race, he felt black, so I just went with it. As for the sexuality headcanons, Bob is definitely ace. Mostly because I'm ace, but like, come on. If you engage with the text, that is an ace man. Demi-romantic, just so I can have some wiggle room if you catch my drift. Larry and Archie are definitely bisexual. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with me on this. I'm pretty sure this is a very common headcanon. And then Mr. Lunt, there's no way Mr. Lunt keeps up with LGBT labels. You know what I mean? He knows his friend Larry likes men and women. He does not, if you asked him what his sexuality was, Mr. Lunt would not know. He does not care. So yeah, Mr. Lunt is unlabeled. He just likes whoever. He doesn't care about the label. He's not even fully aware of the labels. So yeah, that was my thought process for designing these characters. I am planning to post my designs for the rest of the cast. Hopefully I do that sometime this century. I'm very busy, like, all of the time with school. I'm enjoying it a lot. I got a generational set of courses this semester. I'm taking anatomy and physiology. I'm taking this class called Drugs, Brain, and Behavior. That's a psychology class. And neurological and ocular diseases. So that's mostly the eye. A little bit of the nervous system, but mostly the eye. My teacher is so nice. Like, we just had exam 1 and he got us donuts. They were really good donuts too. I got like a cream-filled donut with chocolate frosting. I was sitting in the exam room and I'm thinking, this guy is so sweet, that is genuinely sickening. Like, I'm a massive hater. But yes, I could also talk more about how this semester is going, I suppose. I kind of want to. Like, earlier this week we did a cat dissection and my professor complimented my surgical skills, and I was like, thank you. I have no desire to be a surgeon. You know, I have the perfectionism, I don't have the patience to be a surgeon. And also, as I was trying to like get to the external intercostal muscles, I accidentally but I did accidentally cut into the thoracic cavity, and I was like, oh, that's a lung. So I wasn't supposed to do that. So, you know, not that great a surgeon. Alright, chat, I am really, really tired, so I would like to go to bed now. So I will see you guys next time, and send me more ass on Tumblr. I would love to chat with you guys. Okay, bye.